side, continuing today, you'll have noticed that there's a big buzz around the place and there's a lot going on. To tell us exactly what it is that's going on is a bit of bonus guest, an unexpected bonus guest, the great Wayne Hemingway. Morning, Wayne.
Morning.
So it's called We Invented the Weekend, this festival that's happening here. Tell us about the title and tell us what it is.
Yeah, we were about 3 or 4 years ago. It was coming up to the 10th anniversary of Media City here, and we thought, this amazing spaces, but kind of not used as an event space that much. It is ultimately a park, a hard standing park with a water park with the Manchester Ship Canal coming through it, and all that space to do stuff. But to do a festival, it should be rooted in meaning in a place. And so a group of us sat together and we kind of think, we looked at the history of the place, the history of the docks, but we couldn't quite come up with anything. And then just in a conversation, this chap had watched that programme, Who Do You Think You Are, on the BBC programme, and had seen Sir Ian McKellen talking about his great-granddad, Robert Lowes, who in 1843 was a workers' rights activist. And he got, for the first time, this place would have been full of textile mills and, it was the big fabric area of the northwest, and everybody worked on a Saturday. The only day people had off was a Sunday, so the weekend didn't exist. And not that long ago, 1843. You were still alive, weren't you then?
Yeah, I was very much. Just starting off at the BBC.
Yeah, and so. The weekend, there wasn't such a thing as a weekend, and he campaigned, which was a very Greater Manchester thing to do for workers' rights.
Yes,
and got the Saturday off. So effectively, the weekend was invented here, right here in Greater Manchester, in Salford. We couldn't believe it. It fell into our lap. We were sat there. Well, we invented the weekend. This place, and it felt so the swagger of Greater Manchester. Like on the 8th day, God created Manchester. That thing that's on Affleck's Palace, and we thought. Really? So we got Salford University, who are right next to us here, to start doing research on it. And lo and behold, absolutely, unequivocally true. 5 years later, Henry Ford gave weekends off in America, but here did it. So we thought we could do a festival that celebrated the weekend. For obviously some people work at the weekend, but for a lot of people it's what we live for. Mm-hmm. And what do people do at the weekend? All those things that you do, from taking your kid to a karate class in a church hall to for me going running, taking the dog for a walk, gardening, listening to music, improving your mind, all of those things. And how could we bring all of those things that people do so that other people could try them out in one place? It had never been done before, that narrative of the weekend. And yesterday, the first one was cancelled. It was in September last year. The Queen died. Yeah. Everything was built. All the stuff that you see now out there, like all that money, gone. Couldn't help it. That's what happened. And so now we've with all the partners of the Lowry, all the cultural institutions around here, and the landowner and various private sector people, we've got the money together, put on free festival. I must stress this.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
Free. And we put it on, and the next thing we hear is we put it on as a 2-day train strike, Friday and yesterday. Luckily, the trains are running today. Then Man United and Man City get to play each other for the first time in London.
Yeah.
And but anyway, yesterday was absolutely mobbed. The sun shone. I don't know, what was it, 50,000 people?
It was tremendous. I mean, that's why when I came to see you and Patrick Grant from Soinby do a talk, which was really a brilliant talk, and I did think, well, we are part of this community here, so we absolutely wanted to have you on and talk about it. And it's all kinds of things, sport, things for kids, music, all kinds of things.
It's basically split up into zones. So there's We Play, where kids can go and do football, skateboarding, learn all sorts. Well, not just kids, anybody. We Think Big, which is based around Salford Uni, where there's some unbelievably good talks going on there and debates. One about the devil wears fast fashion. There's one about the future of community sport, etc., etc. And then there's the main stage, which I'm just looking out to my right here.
Yes.
And then that's a decent sized stage with a fantastic band called Love Scene in the afternoon, and Craig Charles finishes it. And then there's all sorts of workshops, so you can make things about what do you want from a weekend. And we have this free time parade at about mid-afternoon, where you can spend an hour or so making a placard and go on a parade across the bridges and round, and then end up at the main stage. Just wherever you look across at the Lowry, there's stuff going on. The RHS are here. You can try your hand at growing sunflowers. I mean, you name it.
There's a CBeebies tent.
Yeah, I did bedtime stories in there yesterday.
Great.
We start off kind of early it's mothers and their babies having a rave, and the 70 mothers marching in with babies in baby carriers, and they're all dancing in front of the stage. It's just beautiful things like that happening.
It was a lovely atmosphere yesterday. Me and Loz spent some time around it yesterday, and so we should say then, it's on again today till 6.
6 o'clock, yeah.
We've got a tram stop here. If you're in the Great Manchester area, if you're in this area, we've got a tram stop right here.
Buses, trams.
Trams.
Walk down the Bridgewater Canal.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I mean, and the trains are running, so there's no excuse not. And this is, and there won't be another one of these till a year. Till September 2024. So get down here while this sun's out.
No. That's brilliant. We wanted to be a part of it and tell people what's going on. The other thing that's fallen very nicely is we're celebrating with we're playing 2 records. The 90th anniversary of drive-in movies. It's the first drive-in movie opened in 6th of June 1933 in Camden, New Jersey. But the track we've played...
Not in Salford?
No, it wasn't. For once, Manchester didn't invent it. So it was... But we're going to play Driving Saturday by David Bowie. We were going to play this anyway, but I said, "Lord, perfect. Let's have Wayne on before that," because you told a great story when I came to hear you talk about... You're from Blackburn,
yeah,
and you told about what got you into kind of vintage and second-hand clothing. It's kind of David Bowie related, isn't it?
Yeah, so I was born in Morecambe, but formative years in Blackburn, and the first big concert I went to was 72, the Aladdin Sane tour at King George's Hall in Blackburn. People can start to guess my age now, but I was only 12 then.
Yes,
11 actually, 11 in then, and it was a big turning point in my life really because. Number one, seeing David Bowie and the impression that he gave to me, and then I just wanted to dress differently after that. And I'd grown up with my nan and my mum making clothes, and they always dressed differently. But it was David Bowie really that said, right, you can do this. And at the time, there was the only fashion shop in Blackburn was called Clubber, which in the Arndale Centre.
And it's a brilliantly 70s.
Yeah. I remember the 70s logo. And as a young man, you'd go there, but you'd always see other people in it. So I just started to wear second-hand clothes and go to jumble sales and army surplus stores. There wasn't many charity shops back then in 72, in the early 70s. And by the time I started going to Wigan Casino in 74 when I was 13, I was completely 100% wearing second-hand clothes. And to this day, it's my main passion. Out here there's this thing called Charity Supermarket. The first time it's come north in the Piazza here.
Brilliant. Yeah.
10 charities, all of the big name charities there. And to this day, it's a big passion of mine, the idea that now it's changed from just, wearing second-hand, yes, you can be different because you're not wearing the same as everybody else, but now, you know that every pound you spend is a good pound. You're giving back to end-of-life care, all of that stuff, so the social benefit. So, yeah, I mean, my journey started there with David Bowie because there was no other way of looking like him other than doing it yourself.
Sure. Well, we're going to play Driving Saturday. We're going to encourage you to come down to We Invented the Weekend here at Media City in Salford. Cheers, Wayne.
Cheers.